Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Tech Team Trunks channel, where we're going to tinker and learn. Today, we're going to be tearing apart the Acer Aspire 5 to do this SSD upgrade. Uh, the only original complaint I had, if you've seen my previous review video, was that the hard drive was too small. A lot of people said the hard drive is too small. 128 gigabytes just does not cut it for what I need it for. If I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to make beats, I want to, like, say, if I want to do a little bit more, take a little bit more files on the road with me, the upgrade was the thing to do. And without further ado, like the video on your way in, share the video with a friend, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and I will create great content like this. Without further ado, let's get it started. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna install an NVMe in an Acer Aspire 5 a515. This is the Tech Team Trunks channel. For all those that don't know, I'm Paul, and we're gonna get this started right now. There are a few critical points that I want to go over before we get this process started on this laptop. So here's the things that we have to do. First, we're gonna install the new SSD into an external case. Now, the external case that I use for this is a SABRENT. You could find a link in the description to that and the solid state SSD NVMe that I bought to use for this project. You also want to make a clone using Macrium Reflect Free. Now, I want to say that making a clone of your hard drive is getting hard. Don't get tricked into paying for it. Try to do it for free if you can help it. And the reason why is because I'm going to use this software one time to do my hard drive, and then I'm going to take it off the hard drive, right? I'm going to uninstall it. Well, another thing too is there's a need for a software that is free and open source that could clone without a problem. So if you guys know of any other software that could do any clones like this, comment below in the comment section. But for this video instruction, we'll be using Macrium Reflect Free. Then we'll also have to disassemble the cover, do the cover removal, take basically the bottom base off. Then we have to disconnect the battery. That's crucial that you disconnect the battery. You don't want anything funny happening. And then you got to uninstall the NVMe SSD and then install the new one. Then be sure to reconnect the battery and then reassemble the case. So we're going to start by installing a new SSD in the external case. That's the first part of this section of the video. So what I have is that SP SSD and that SABRENT USB-C type tool for that SABRENT that could be used with this SSD. So basically, I'm gonna get that box open, and I'm gonna, open it up, and I'm gonna open up the SSD and install it in there as well. I thought I needed a screwdriver, but as it turned out, it was a toolless design, which was really cool, and I was impressed. So, if you need to get one, there's a link in the description. That's exactly what I use. Okay. So now I'm going through the process of opening it up, and there's just a button on the side that I had to push, and it opened it right up for me. The next thing that I had to do was I had to see if I needed like a screw or something. But I realized that now I realize that it's toolless, that I didn't need a screw. Therefore, you could just snap your SSD right into place with no problem. And that's what I'll demonstrate here shortly. And these type of projects, you want to take your time and you want to be organized. You don't want to be rushing or anything like that. So basically, I'm opening the package for the SSD, and that was pretty easy to open. I didn't have too much of a problem tearing that open there. Some of these packages could be awfully difficult to open. So I have the new SSD, and it's ready to go into that case. So what we'll do is we'll zoom in a little bit. Uh, Look at that SSD goodness from the NVMe department. Now, I was a little too shallow on the angle and getting it in. As you see, it didn't make a successful connection. You have to angle it at a pretty steep angle to get it in there, a little steeper than what I did to get it in there. Then you have to put some force. Now, I thought that was something that some action that I had to take, whether it's like flip a tab or something like that. It turned out that you just snap the drive into place. So that's was what I was trying to figure out. Okay, so what I'm getting. So that's basically what I had to do. Snapped right into place. There we have it. Pretty cool. All right, now we're gonna make a clone using Macrium. All right, we're gonna use Macrium Select Free trial version. Basically, I'm going through the process by which I clone the disk. Now, I want to caution you on making a mistake. The first time I tried to clone the disk, I messed up and I didn't clone the C drive large enough for, and it was kind of defeating the purpose. I exactly had a mirror copy of what I had on the first drive, sizes and all, and that's not exactly what I want. And what I hope to show you in this segment is how to avoid that, because when you get into the different programs, it can get a little tricky figuring out what you want to do in terms of uh, how you want to go about getting the drives situated on the different, you know, the, the the different disks situated on the drive. So I'm like going through my clone options, and I had to go back a little bit because that was the problem. As you see right there, I couldn't get the Acer C drive large enough. So I played around in the black screens trying to see whatever it is I could do. And it really was dependent upon me making some changes before I would get to this screen in order to make the drive sufficiently large enough to be beneficial for the upgrade that I just performed. So I'm just going through all the different options, trying to see what it is I could do to get that drive to go larger. But apparently it wasn't in the screen, so I hit cancel. And then I found out that what I could do is think, well, I played around more. I got a little bit more activity out of the screen, but all I could do at this point was shrink the drive because the way that the drive was spaced, the material on the drive, there was just unused material that was taking up too much space, and all the stuff was just not in the right position. So yeah, what I figured out in this screen, what you do, right, is you float that last piece to the right and you fill the space with the C drive. And that solved the problem for me right there. And this is using Macrium Reflect Trial Edition. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and sped this up. The process of cloning is now taking place and it's going smoothly. So I don't have no complaints about that. And this will just be a moment before it completes the process. And this is the important part of the process. If you get this part of the process wrong, then you're going to have a problem. So you want to not bump any wires. You don't want to like disconnect the drive or nothing like that, because that wouldn't be very helpful in the situation in the least bit. And the process is almost complete, as you can see. And this is going together beautifully. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for more great content coming up. All right, so it looks like the process is complete. I've acknowledged the process is complete. Finalizing the process, hit the close button on those screens. And the drive is spaced just how I like it. I have ample space to do all the things I want to do with this laptop now. And that is so cool. That is the awesomest thing. Now, the critical part now is doing the physical part, getting the disassembly, cover removal, and all that good stuff. So right now, what's going on is I got my screwdriver. I don't know exactly how tight the screws are, so I was gonna like start hand loosening a few of them, even though it's an electric screwdriver. So I started out that because my experiences with that screwdriver and an older laptop was that um, I was the motor was not turning the screw, and it was just kind of kind of weak. So um, so eventually I got into a system and was able to get it, whereas with this laptop the screws were just not that tight, or not as tight as on other laptops, and I was able to use my electric screw. Pretty neat. It makes the whole process convenient because there are a whole lot of screws there that take a little bit of time if you're going to use it manually with the screwdriver. And you shouldn't use the electric for everything, like as you'll see later in the video how I do it. I actually use the manual screwdriver for the SSD upgrade itself. So we're just going to go through and we're going to do the screw. You can see up there a different angle, and you can see like this angle over here. Pretty cool. And that thing that I'm using at the bottom lower right hand side of your screen, it's like a magnet for the screws. Without that, your screws would be all over the place, and it's kind of a nightmare to keep it. Now, at this point, you got to struggle a little bit. I got a little wedge that I got in there that I'm going to try to get the case open with. That's the thing. And I did struggle with it. Like, I didn't edit it all into the video, but basically, you get that off, you're good to go. Free. It's off to the races. So what we're going to do is disconnect the battery at this point. It's very important that you do disconnect the battery so that nothing funny happens. The battery is obvious with the, just trace the wires. It's not a ribbon cable, but it's just like standard wires and a row, you know, like kind of like, so you would disconnect that. You can see it disconnect, and don't try to use the wires like I did. Just use your nails, what little nails you have, to try and like thumb it up out of there. That's exactly what I did. Now we're going to remove the old NVMe SSD. It's pretty simple. You just want to get a manual screwdriver. And then you want to just unscrew it just like such. You want to pull it right on out. It comes right out just like that. Then we're going to install the new one. And we are on our way. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know if I go live or do something or whatever. And be sure to check the links out in the information section, the description section of the video, so you can get the same drive that I use to do this project, and you could get the same NVMe drive enclosure that I use to do this project. And I might even put the screw gun up there that I bought too. But here's the installation of the NVMe. The screws are so small and my hands are so shaky. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little excited. I get a little excited. Sometimes if you get a little excited, sometimes the best thing to do is take a break. But for me, it's like I'm making this video and I'm like, eventually, you know, a little concentration, a little mind over matter, and we got it in. Okay, so we got the new drive installed. We're gonna connect the battery. I actually forgot to connect the battery and had to go retrace my steps. Make sure you connect the battery before you do anything else. Very important. So we're going ahead and we're connecting the battery. It's a little tricky. The parts are small, but I mean, once you line everything up, then you can just kind of pinch it from the top like I did. Now we're going to assemble the case. We're going to put the bottom piece back on the laptop, and we're going to dust it off because a lot of dust gets moving when you take the thing apart. I've only had it since kind of the beginning of the year, beginning of 2023. So the thing snaps back together. You know, you want to get all four corners. You want to make sure there's no gaps. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, it's snapped together beautifully. I gotta say, this is one of the easier laptops to take apart. I've taken apart more difficult laptops in the day. If you have had experience with any more difficult laptops, you could comment below. Okay. We're in the process of just screwing it back together. It's going back together beautifully. And every screw that I took out, I put back in. I didn't have any extra screws at the end of this project, which is kind of cool. And that's really essentially it, you know. What you have is the upgrade of the hard drive, and it allows me to do more, run more programs, store more stuff. I can't complain about that. Who else wouldn't want to do that? So this is a project that I'd recommend it. The thing is, um, like, I haven't done a project in a while, so I wasn't used to it, but I still handled it beautifully. I think it went well. I'm impressed with it. Uh, Now the trick is, you know, we have to turn it on and see if it, you know, still works or if any damage is done. Make sure you didn't bust a screen or anything crazy like that. And it's a very durable design, and we were able to get it, like, basically. So it took me just a couple minutes to get it back together. Now we're ready to test fire it. Gonna clean up some of the dust. Gonna open the lid, and then we're gonna take a look. So you know, take a look to your to the right side of the screen for the laptop booting up. The little screen next to me. So it's starting. So we got power. At least we got power. We're just waiting for it to recognize the hard drive, boot up. Seems to get the little spinny, Voila. Quite elated to realize that everything's working. Thank you for watching. But before you go, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Be sure to share this with a friend who may be having to do this laptop or, you know, whatever have you. And comment below if you have any experience with it. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to the channel for more stuff. And there we go.